So in this video, I'm just going to show you how I made this batch of stud earrings using polymer clay, black, white and silver leaf. I've been watching a few tutorials, thought I would have a go. This is only my second attempt. I'm quite pleased at how they came out, given it was only my second go. So if you want to watch, I'll walk you through what I did, and I really appreciate any tips from experts out there on what I could do better or how I could have made it easier. But yeah, let's get to it. So welcome to this tutorial. As you'll see in the description, this is only the second time I've tried this, so I'm going to try and use black and white polymer clay with some silver leaf foil to make some stud earrings. And if anybody's watching this, there'll definitely be better ways to do what I'm doing. I've watched a few tutorials, bought some stuff and decided to try it. Please do let me know in the comments what you would do better or how you could do things easier, so that when I try it again, it'll be better, and really we can try this together. But so just got some. So the clay I'm using is this Fimo, I think that's how you say it, Professional from Stedler. Seems to have good reviews from the tutorials I've watched. So I'm just going to use a wee bit of the white and a bit of the black, and I'm going to try and just it's been in a air sealed tub since the last time I used it, so I'm hoping that'll be okay and hasn't dried out or anything. But just kind of work on the clay first of all. And I found when I tried this before that if I did the darker colours, particularly the black first, and then touched the white, it kind of tinted it a bit, so that's why I'm starting with the white. And I've got this pasta machine, which again, from watching the tutorial, said was handy to do. And I'm just going to run the clay through that a few times as well. And what I actually seen in another tutorial was if you fold it over, make sure and put the folded bit in first, so that pushes the air up. I think that reduces cracks and stuff. So I'm just going to put it through a few times. And I just have it on the thinnest setting there. So again, any words of wisdom, please let me know if there's better ways to prep the clay. Okay, so and this is just a little sheet that came with the, I think it was a UV resin lamp I got, and a little sheet of acrylic here to put this on. But I've seen people use ceramic tiles, which I think are better, and you can put the tiles straight into the oven. So I probably would like to get one of those. But all we're going to do now is take one of these little blades that I see used quite often. So again, I'll put the link in the down below, and we're just going to cut it up into tiny little pieces because they're very small stud earrings. I want the marbling to be as tiny as possible. So I'm not being very exact, I'm just trying to get tiny little pieces. Okay, I'll just try and break those up a wee bit. And I'm actually just going to wash the black off before I touch the white. That was a mistake I made the first time I tried this. even though we'll be mixing it in anyway, but might make no difference, but yeah, I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now we're going to do the white, same way. And then just mix the two together. Okay, now I'm just gonna, so this is the set I use, the gilding adhesive set. Gold leaf, but I've actually used all the gold and other things, so I'm just left with the silver now, but I think it'll look good. So get little sheets like this. There's a bit that's come out. I'm just gonna, one sheet at a time, just put it in and mix it through. I'm also going to add some of this liquid Sculpey, which is like a liquid polymer clay. So when you're chopping it up like this to marble it, apparently it's good to add it. It just helps it reduce cracks and stuff. So I'm just going to mix that in a second as well. Okay, I'm just going to put in another sheet. So, yeah. Then just going to try and mold this together into a block. Okay, so we've got our cube and just cleaned everything up there. So what we do now is slice this up a few times, probably try and get 4 slices. The studs are only 6 mil, so we don't need that much. A mistake I made the first time until I watched another tutorial was just like, when you slice this, obviously you're left with the end, so just trying to take that end off there, get rid of that. And then hopefully you're left with a nice marbling, which looks pretty cool. And again, off the other end. Just make sure, yeah, again, looks pretty cool. So I'm going to split this in half, and then half again. Okay. So then just try and arrange these together. So just work the clay in. So, okay. Then again, there'll be a link, but I've just got one of these acrylic rollers to just try and spread that a bit thinner. You can see the foil shining through there. That's what we don't want. Gonna run my knife underneath it. So with that, we're just gonna get our machine again and run it a few times. Okay. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Might just flip that over on the clean side. So, trying to see which side I kind of like best. probably that side to be honest, so I'll put that down. And yeah, so again, got a little set of studs, and it just comes in this little box. So little 6mm studs, and then some to go on the back when we get to that stage, but we're going to need some studs for now. If we could get that one. So yeah, just little 6mm wide studs. Put some right there. And then this is where I'm intrigued if anybody has any better ideas, but I don't have a cutter, a 6mm cutter to cut it out, which will obviously make things easier. So I'm just going to literally push this down and see how it turns out. But yeah, I imagine if I had a 6mm circle cutter, that would be a much better idea. So yeah, I'll try that next time, but here we go. So I'm just going to pick a random spot. I'm just going to use my tweezers actually to push that down. I kind of push and bring it around. Yeah, and you can see, I'm just going to rub my finger. Again, there's probably definitely better ways to do this, but just going to trace around those edges and try and force the clay down into the inside the stud. It is at an angle, so when it hardens in the oven, it should be secure in there. But yeah, happy with that. And then I've got this little stand to put these in, which is very handy if I could find it. Yeah, just got all these little boards. So again, I'll try and put the link in the description. And once you've done each stud, you can fire it in there. So same thing again. You can kind of see that's them there. There's quite a few variations there, look pretty good. Nice to see the foil sparkling. So next step is obviously to get this in the oven. So it tells you, usually will tell you on the packets, you can see here it's 110 degrees for 30 minutes. So I'm not gonna put the camera on my oven for that length of time. So I'll show you what they look like when they come out, and then we'll glaze it. But the last thing to say is, bought this, wouldn't want to chance it being plastic in the oven, which would be handy. So I actually found a tip on another video, is just to grab a like an overpressed dish and just put rice in it, so the studs will just sit in the rice like that, and I'll hold them up. So our stud earrings are out of the oven, all nicely dried. And now I'm just going to transfer them into back into our little rack again. Okay, so we can get rid of this here now. Yep, I have to go easy. So first thing I'm going to do is just get a cotton bud and some isopropyl alcohol and just give them a quick wipe, just to lift any little oils or fingerprints or anything that would be on those. I think that's them all. And then just going to make sure that those are dry completely before doing just using the glaze. So, and the glaze we're going to use is this Sculpey gloss glaze. And I've just literally squeezed a little bit into a little cup from my son's play kitchen. We're just going to use an old just going to use an old paintbrush, sorry, to, they recommend doing several thin coats rather than a larger coat. So probably going to do 3, and I think it says leave half an hour. Yeah, half an hour between coats and then 24 hours to dry fully. So yeah, just gonna let these dry a wee second. So pretty sure the isopropyl alcohol is dried now. Just doing a little thin coat on each one. Trying not to paint onto the actual metal surround. It is only the first coat, so yeah, gonna let that dry for half an hour. Probably not much point in seeing that whole process twice again, but yeah, half an hour, second coat, half an hour, third coat. And then we'll have a look at what it's looking like. But yeah, definitely getting shinier already. That's all 3 coats on with half an hour between each. I've just done the last one, and it says to leave it for 24 hours. So I'm gonna let those completely dry overnight before basically just finish them up. So what I got really was just these little cardboard earring presentation cards. Can't remember what the technical name is for them. And then, like you've seen earlier, I've used all of the actual studs, but then there's these little, I can't even grab one, that just go on the back. These little rubber ones as well. So got these little bags as well that goes into. So the first batch that I did, here's one that was kind of finished. I used coloured polymer clay for it. Just Killing and Charm was just little logo designed, and there's the backings on it there, and then the little sleeve. So just an idea on what you can do to kind of finish it off. Again, absolutely would love to hear any suggestions from people on what they do as well.